Hey, what up, people? Peek out here in Singapore. It is 8 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday, and we are excited because baby girl gets to start hockey practice this afternoon. But in the meantime, she decided to ask me about virtual reality and how she wants to play it one day. And it got me thinking, on the way to school, I was trying to think of what I was going to tell her and how that would fit into life in general. But honestly, I didn't even think about this. Virtual reality, it means that you close your eyes to what is actually around you, let someone else tell you what is real and what it isn't real, and then you go ahead about your business. And as I was coming back home, I was, thinking about what I was going to call this, and I decided to call it virtual insanity because one of my favorite songs as I was growing up by, I don't even know if I'm saying this right, Jamiroquai, was called Virtual Insanity. So I'm going to attempt to sing you the hook real quick, and it talks about futures made of virtual insanity, now always seem to be governed by this love we have for useless twisting of our new technology. Oh, now there is no sound, for we all live underground. Oh my gosh. Okay, voice all over the place, I don't care. But the point is, you heard the lyrics, right? So, futures made of virtual insanity always seem to be governed by this love we have for useless twisting of our new technology. And now there is no sound, for we all live underground. So, yes, technology brought us all together. We're able to contact each other 24/7, 365 days a year. We can instantly message from across the world. We don't have to wait for, a dial tone. We don't have to wait for thinking about what the other time zone is in the other country or whatever. We can actually message right now, and then when they get up and see it, they can message us right back. A lot of times, because it makes it so much faster, we get used to this instant gratification culture, and we get upset when people don't message us right back. But on top of that, it's like Google has become the encyclopedia. We take everything for granted that it's the actual truth. If you find it on Google, it must be the truth. But then we forget that there are bloggers out there that are writing about their opinions about everything. So media and mainstream news stuff, right? It all has a angle to it, right? No one can make any mistakes because some PR person somewhere is going to angle it in such a way that it doesn't look so damn bad. You can't be mad at them. They had tough times. They had hard decisions to make. They didn't know it was in the moment. Blah blah blah. So, literally, we've become virtual insanity. Everything is based on the outside world, the virtual world, on the internet, whatever's on the web, whatever you see on social media. That is gospel truth. Obviously, memes have been the way we speak to each other. Sarcasm is a way of life. Okay. So a baby girl and I was talking, and she was like, "Yeah, virtual reality seems kind of cool. You get into the computer. It's almost like jumping into the game. That's the way she sees it. You jump into the game. But the way I see it is, we're already living a virtual insanity because you are taught over and over again what to think because you go to school, and the government decides what is right and what isn't right because that's how you get your textbooks, right? And that's in every country, correct? I mean, do you go to do research papers anymore? Like as a young kid, I did a lot of reading. I had to do book reports once a week, every week, even in elementary school. Now she's in second grade. Hopefully she'll start doing this by next year. But the point being that she was taught to read as many different perspectives as possible and then decide what was real for her, what was important to her. What did you like about that story? What did you not like about that story? What was the message you got from that story, right? And that's how I actually try to raise her, because every time we watch something, every time there's like a tough decision or a tough situation, we were watching No Good Nick, and she was really upset about the dad and how much pressure she put on the kid or whatever. But the point being that, do you see what people do when they love someone so much and they do everything in their power to save that person because they feel like if they just had that person, if that person just had this chance, life would go back to normal. Life would be great. But it's not always like that. Situations and circumstances changes all of us, and it's up to us to be able to think for ourselves, learn to gather as much information as possible, and then make a decision. An informed decision, an educated guess. Now, we talk about those things in very, very specific circles. We don't talk about that in math and in science. We don't talk about it in English and history and philosophy. We don't talk about it in social sciences. We don't talk about that in places where it would matter, in PE. We are herded like animals. We are taught as a group like animals. It's like training chimps or something. So if you train one chimp and let the other ones go wild, guess what? Not all of them are going to obey, right? The one you taught is not going to obey because the majority is doing their own thing. Now, if the majority is obeying, once in a while, somebody who goes rogue, you don't pay that much attention to them, right? Then it's like, oh, he's crazy. Oh, he's got a mental problem. Oh, he's got, attention deficit. He needs to be medicated. We'll bring him back to the fold. It's okay. I mean, how many movies do we have to see to remind ourselves that when there's a governing body trying to teach you everything at the same time, not allowing you to explore for yourself, there's a reason behind that. So basically, my whole conversation with Baby Girl about virtual reality is, okay, cool, it could be fun to try. It could be fun to to be told what to think every so often, but it shouldn't become your norm. And she was like, yeah, but does that mean that my imagination is bad? I said, no, not at all. Because you need reading to enhance your imagination skills. Every author has their own way of writing. Every author has their own thing that they want you to, to imagine with them, to visualize with them as they write. That's why they're so descriptive. That's why they try to build up characters. They take so much time to write these things. I mean, they could very easily just be like, oh yeah, this guy, met this girl one time and he did everything he could to get her, and in the end, she loved him, but he got tired of chasing her, so that was the end of the story. I mean, we could do it like that, but you want to go on that sorry, you want to go on that roller coaster of emotions. You want to follow the whole ups and downs of everything because it mimics life, right? Art mimics life, which mimics art, which mimics life. I don't know where it ends. But I wanted her to understand, yes, okay, every one of these things in moderation is okay. But at the end of the day, you need to be able to think for yourself. She gets in trouble for not being able to critically think her way through math problems. The word problems, she has a tough time. But she loves detective movies. She loves these, adventures where they have to figure their way out of things. But because she's so used to having the TV tell her what to do next, she's not capable of thinking for herself. That's not what they teach in school. They teach you to obey. And she's realizing that now, and I'm like, it's okay. They got to teach you that way for a while, but you need to want to learn on your own as well. Now, she wants to be the head of her class, but she doesn't want to put in the effort. But she needs to understand that if she doesn't put in the effort, she's going to be exactly where she is, continually getting things wrong and getting upset with herself and getting frustrated. When it comes to doing homework, she can't wait for me to tell her what to do. She can't wait for me to ask the questions that prompt her to do the next thing. She's got to figure that out. I had to figure that out. So it's a balance. There was a big part of my life where my mom did not hover over and monitor everything I did because, you know what? I got really good at managing myself because she had 2 other kids to take care of. She had work to take care of. She had other things, problems to take care of. So I governed myself. I was in charge of my homework. And every once in a while I show her my homework just to check, because I wasn't sure if it was good enough. But other than that, I did it myself, I delivered on my own. But that's because I took an interest. That's because I took pride in my work. That's because I got tired of getting told off in class. I remember, I think it was in high school. It might have been college. I don't know. But I was just not getting something in math. I just did not get it. It was in high school, I think. And Miss Folks was my math teacher. And she was stern. She was tough. She did not give in very much. And she didn't like people asking questions. So she over here was thinking as I asked questions, because I did not get it. I think it was something about matrices. I hated matrices. Matrices, whatever. So I asked her a question, and she got mad, but to the point that she just happened to be sick, and I didn't know about it, but she started crying. Because she was like, why are you disrupting the class so much? I said, look, I stayed after class, and I told her, look, I don't get it. I don't understand. I'm not asking because I want to upset everything. I'm not asking to drag out this one question all through class, because I would like to get to the end of the class too, but if I don't get it, that's what you're there for, right? I'm supposed to ask. We are taught to just swallow whatever they give us. They don't like it when you interrupt the class to ask questions. And I understand there are some class clowns out there that do nothing but mess it up for the rest of us, or try and get us to laugh and disrupt the class because they're not interested in the first place. But for those of us who actually raise our hands and want to ask questions, we need to feel safe to ask questions. Otherwise, you got to figure it out for yourself somewhere else. Bottom line is, I need you all to question what you're being told. I'm not saying be rebellious. I'm not saying go create anarchy. I'm not going saying, take on the whole system. I'm saying question it for yourself. Is this really true? Is there a way you could verify it for yourself? I was always told, never trust anyone's information but your own. Because in a virtual reality society, I don't know why I'm being told what I'm being told. And it's important because guess what? If I'm told all my life that vampires are the devil, right? I would never think to take the time to get to know one. Immediately you'd be like, oh my God, I kill you before you kill me. And yeah, vampires is an extreme thing, right? And you know me, I'm into vampires at the moment. But what if it was you were taught all your life that unless you're Christian, you're not good enough. Unless you give your hand, your whole life to Jesus, you're not good enough. What if you were told that, the right way to live is the Muslim-like way to live? That you have to pray a certain amount of times of day at certain times of the day, facing a certain direction. And if you didn't do that, well, you get further and further from where you want to be, from where God is. What if you're told that, if you make a bunch of mistakes, you're going to keep coming back here. You're going to have to keep coming back to earth as a human and redo all this stuff over and over again until you get it straight. What if you were told that you have this never-ending cycle of life and death until you get to enlightenment? What if that was your reality? Because you were told it over and over again from childhood. But why was I told that? Mostly because the people who told me, that's all they knew. They did what they could. They gave unto others as they were given unto themselves. It was like a cycle. Because they were told what the rules were and where the lines were, and they had to only paint within the lines, they didn't know that you could do watercolor. They didn't know that you could have beautiful backgrounds outside of the lines and still have it look like art. This is why we judge each other, y'all, because we're told what to think. And once we're told what to think, it's like we can't make up our minds for ourselves. Now our soul guides to guide us. We have feelings for a reason. Sometimes you're told to do this and you want to fight that person. Be like, nah, I don't want to do it like that. I'm going to do it this way because you said I had to do it this way. But why is that? Why do you want to fight so bad? Why do you get that weird feeling in your stomach like, you can't tell me what to do? Because we are the only creatures on the planet able to think the way that we do and then make a decision. We're the only creatures on the planet. Okay, maybe not the only creatures, because I understand that dogs are pretty intelligent and dolphins are intelligent and pigs are intelligent. But I'm saying, though, we stepped up. We took over the earth. Look what we're doing to it. We're told for so many years that fossil fuels are the way to go. It's the only way we can get fuel. This is the only way we can power the country and power the world and power our houses. And suddenly, oh shit, solar panels. They could work. Like as I look around right now, I live in a flat, right? And I'm almost at the top of the building. And I can see the roofs of the buildings around me. And I'm like, yeah, our government is installing solar panels everywhere. It's getting cheaper. It's getting smarter. It's getting more efficient. But somebody somewhere had to risk being called a complete crazy person to think solar panels could work. Because until then, it was always horse-drawn carriage, fossil fuels, cars, generate electricity, batteries. We had cold fusion and free electricity back in Nikola Tesla's days. But what do? Somebody privatized it and said, no, nothing for free. I need to make some money off of this. So I'm telling you, man, virtual reality, it's all fun and games until you realize that's how our entire system is set up. You're being told what to think. You're being told what to care about. Big Boss has been on, right? And I know people have been chiming in about what to do and how to do it. They found out it was rigged and they still watch it. It was scripted and they still watch it. And they still feel for these people. And I get that. That's cool. But why did certain people get cast in a certain light? Why is there a guy that's super mopey looking and running after some girl in the show, and one girl that was kicked off and brought back and starting trouble? Like, look, I don't know all the details, but I've been watching Diane Shun's running commentary on it, right? But the point is, why were those people cast that way? What did they stand to gain? What would it do for their career? What did the producers think that they could get out of it? Could they deliver these things? I'm telling you, man, question everything for yourself. Make sure that you know what's really going on. I asked this yesterday, can we erase our history, right? Who wrote our history books? What if Ravanam was actually a good guy? The king of Lanka. He was intelligent, he was an inventor, he was an industrialist, he was great in many aspects. But he's cast as the bad guy because he abducted someone else's wife. In retaliation for what? I'm not sure. I wasn't there. I am the good guy in my life. I might be the bad guy in somebody else's life. I might be the bad guy in my brother's life. I might be the bad guy in one of my cousin's lives. I don't know. If I write my history, I'm going to talk to you about everything I overcame. If someone else writes a biography of mine, they may write it very differently. Obviously, they would talk to as many people as they could about who I am, what I do, how am I seen, what do people think of me, for real. Those two histories are both true. But it's the point of view that matters, so please, please, don't take anything at face value. Check it out for yourself. Everything I talk to you about emotions, everything I talk to you about how to fix your life maybe and get out ahead of all these things that keep pulling you down, where you feel stuck, where you feel like you have no place to turn, like no one's listening. Even that, try it and check it for yourself. Does it feel right? Does it feel good? Does it fit very well for your life? Because you know what? There are so many ways to teach people. And my way is only one way. And I try as much as I can to involve as many different aspects of learning and teaching as I can. But you know what? Until I actually meet you and talk to you, I don't know if it'll work. So don't take this virtual insanity as gospel truth. Learn to really see. Learn to really ask and understand. That's how you break free. All right, y'all. I'm going to call it. Talk to you soon.